Hello students, and today in this video we'll be studying your last part of your fourth unit and that is continuation of investment part. Like in the last video we have done investment part. Now we'll do marginal efficiency of capital in this video, and this is also the last video of your syllabus. Your syllabus ends here, right? So now you, after I publish this video, you have to study, watch all the videos, prepare notes, and if you doubts, you can ask me. So I'll share a presentation with you all right now. Yes. So as you all know, online lectures are going on of Dr. D.Y. Patil College of Computer and Business Studies, Shahunagar, Pune. So with this regard, we'll continue with our last part of our fourth unit and our syllabus, of course. So this is the part of investment itself that we have studied in part 3. So here we'll study marginal efficiency of capital. Now let's understand what is MEC. MEC is the ratio between the prospective yield of additional capital goods and their supply price. Like in other words, the rate of return over cost relates the expected yield of a capital good to its supply price. So it is a relationship that Keynes calls MEC, that is marginal efficiency of capital. To tell you, in 1920, Irving Fisher was first economist who made use of this concept MEC, that is marginal efficiency of capital. He gave it a name, rate of return over cost. So in simple words, MEC means expected rate of profitability of new investment. So its calculation is basically depends upon two factors, that is amount of profit expected by investing one more unit of capital, and second is cost of capital. So MEC can be calculated by deducting its cost from total cost. Let me explain you this with the help of an example, right? So suppose the price of machine is 30,000, duration of life of machine is 10,000, and expected income during this period is 60,000. So total profit of machine will be 60 minus 30, 30,000. Average profit will be divided by number of years. So MEC will be average profit divided by total profit, that is into 110%. So marginal efficiency of capital will be 10%. Now how do you give it 10%? That is average profit per year divided by total profit of machine. So you get MEC. Understood? So this is how we calculate. Now there are a few determinants of MEC. There are two important determinants, that is prospective yield and supply price. Let's understand what is prospective yield. It is the aggregate net return expected from it during its whole life. Like with the rise in price, prospective yield increases, and with the fall in price, it decreases. So that is one of the determinants of MEC. The next is supply price. What it is the cost of producing a new asset of that kind, not a supply price of the existing asset. It is also called replacement cost. Okay, so Keynes has explained MEC as a discount rate which makes the prospective yield of a capital asset equals to its supply price. So supply price is equal to discounted prospective yield, in short, right? Let's understand what are the causes of decline in MEC. Let's understand them one by one. The very first one is reduction in selling price. Like when more investment is made in production of commodity, supply of commodity tends to increase, right? As a result, what happens? Its prevailing market price begins to fall. So in this way, prospective yield also falls. Consequently, MEC of capital begins to decline. This is one of the main reasons. The next cause is increase in cost of production. Now, increased investment of a particular type raises their demand for a particular type of capital asset, and hence it increases supply. So other things remaining constant, had supply price lower the MEC. So increased cost of production leads to decline in MEC. Then last one is diminishing productivity. Now what is that? Like we all know, as a result of increase in capital stock, right? Principle of diminishing productivity begins to operate. So use of every additional unit of capital is followed by diminishing physical productivity. You understand? We have studied law of diminishing returns. So this prospective yield and MEC fall despite price remaining constant, right? So these are one of the reasons why MEC declines. Now, what is the relation between MEC and rate of interest, right? You know, an investor while taking investment decision makes a comparison between MEC and rate of interest. Let's understand how. There are three bullet points I've given here. So let's understand them one by one. Like when rate of interest is less than MEC, investor makes more investment. When rate of interest is equal to MEC, investors stop making any more investment. And when rate of interest is more than MEC, no investment will be made. Right? So this is how a decision is taken by the investor before investing into any kind of an asset or any kind of a stock. So let's understand the concept of investment multiplier. Now, the term investment multiplier refers to the concept that any increase in public or private investment spending has more than a proportionate positive impact on aggregate income and the general economy. Now, it is rooted in the economic theories of John Keynes, right? The multiplier attempted to quantify the additional effects of investment spending beyond those immediately measurable, right? So the larger investments multiplier, the more efficient it is in creating the distributing wealth throughout the economy. So the investment multiplier refers to the stimulative effects of public or private investments. Understand? It is rooted in the theory, and the extent of the investment multiplier depends on two factors, that is marginal propensity to consume and marginal propensity to save. We have studied both these concepts in our previous videos. So if you don't know, go to my previous videos, check out what is a marginal propensity to consume and what is marginal propensity to save, please. So the higher investment multiplier suggests that the investment will have a larger stimulative effect on the economy. Yes, dude. So the investment multiplier tries to determine the economic impact of public or private investment. Like for instance, extra government spending on roads can increase the income of construction works as well as the income of materials suppliers. So these people may spend the extra income in the retail, consumer goods or service industries, boosting the income of the workers in those sectors, right? So as we can see, this cycle can repeat itself through several iterations. What began as an investment in roads quickly multiplied into an economic stimulus, benefiting workers across wide range of industries. You understand? So mathematically, the investment multiplier is a function of two main factors, that is MPC and MPS, marginal propensity to consume and marginal propensity to save. Understood? Now, what is the acceleration principle? The acceleration principle is an economic concept that draws a connection between changing consumption patterns and capital investments, right? Now, it states that if appetite of consumer goods increase, then demand for equipments and other investment necessary to make these goods will grow even more. So, in other words, if population's income increases and its residents as a result begins to consume more, and there will be a corresponding but magnified change in the investment. Okay, so the acceleration principle is also referred to as the accelerator principle or accelerator effect, right? Companies frequently seek to gauge how much demand there is for their products or services. So if they notice that economic conditions are improving and consumption is growing at a sustainable rate, then what will happen? They will likely invest to increase their output, particularly if they are already running close to full capacity, Understand? But failure to do so could see them miss out on a chunk of potential future revenues and lose grounds to faster responding competitors. So they have to find out what will the demand, how will be the consumption pattern. They have to keep watch and determine their production output. So according to the acceleration principle, capital investment increases at a faster rate than the demand for a product. That is because investments to boost output often require significant outlays. Agree with me? So the economies of scale determine that investments are generally more efficient and come with greater cost advantages when they are significant. To tell you guys, in the other words, it makes more sense financially to increase capacity substantially rather than just by a little bit. So the acceleration principle does not compute the rate of change in capital investment as a product of the overall level of consumption, but as a product of the rate of change in the level of consumption. Agree with me? Right? So the acceleration principle has a special effect of exaggerating booms and recessions in the economy. This makes sense, right? As companies want to optimize their profits when they have a successful product, investing in more factories and in capital investments to produce more. It's logical. It's a क्या बोलेंगे, very fair decision, right? Wise decision. So several economists, including Irving Fisher, note that economic cycles move in tandem with company attempts to match ever-changing consumer demand. Agree. So when the economy is growing, customers are buying, and low interest rates make it cheaper to borrow. So management teams regularly seek to capitalize by ramping up production. Any wise producer will do it, right? So eventually this inevitably leads to there being too many products and services in the market, and when supply outstrips demand, prices falls. You know, the effect of demand and supply, we have studied that in your first semester. So prompting these companies faced with culminating sales and profits to scramble to keep their costs under control. So often they respond by slashing capital expenditure and laying off staff. So this is how the balance is maintained in the economy. Understood? So this is all about your concept. So in this video, we have studied about concepts like marginal efficiency of capital, right? The acceleration principle, the investment multiplier, right? Go through it, understand it, watch video again if you have not got it, again and again, so you'll get it. Now it's a plus point for you all that the videos are recorded and it's put up on the YouTube. You can watch anytime, n number of times, right? So that's a plus point. So go with it and take full advantage of this, right? So this is all about your syllabus. The syllabus is over, okay? And I'll be putting up on your group all the videos again for the revision purpose. So go through them again, okay? Thank you so much for watching.